Welcome back to another episode of the Eek of the Week. I'm your host, Albert Einstein, but you can call me Allie with an OWL. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode. We're reading AI-generated stories about cults. Some of these have been fictional, I've come to find out, and some of these are going to be true. This next one is about Heaven's Gate. This is probably the most intriguing one in my opinion. This guy, if you've ever seen any of the clips, if you're into any of this, cult stuff or true crime, I'm sure you've come across this guy, and you've seen his creepy, like far off gaze or stare, I guess you'd call it. As you could tell, he ain't on this planet, or wasn't rather. Before I get into it, listener discretion is strongly advised. If you're not into this type of material where it could be possibly disturbing or triggering to you, we are talking about cults. We are talking about loss of life, etc. If that's not your thing, maybe look down below in one of the older episodes where it's more PG rated. Otherwise, we'll catch you in the next one. But like I said, listener discretion is strongly advised. Any other housekeeping things? This might be the last one for tonight. Today was a holiday. It's Memorial Day. Sporting my red, white, and blue. We didn't do much today, but I am tired. So, I hope you all have had a great long weekend. If you guys get off work or anything like that, I hope you had a good long weekend. And your Tuesday start of the week goes smoothly. I actually took tomorrow off, so not sure what I'll get up to, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Again, thank you so much for listening. If you're enjoying these stories that I've been narrating just as much as I have, please consider following and liking and sharing with your friends. Let them know that we're having a whole lot of fun over here, and we'd love to have them with us. Let's get into it. This is... Let's see if it has a title here. Oh, there we go. This is The Exit Door, the true story of Heaven's Gate. March 26th, 1997. A quiet neighborhood in Rancho Santa Fe, California, just north of San Diego. A sprawling mansion, a rental. The neighbors had always thought the people living there were strange, polite, clean, almost robotic in how they moved. They came and went in groups. They didn't speak to anyone outside, but they didn't cause problems either, until the smell started. When police entered the mansion that day, what they found didn't look like a crime scene. It looked like a stage, a kind of terrible theater. 39 people lying peacefully in bunk beds, identical black shirts, matching black sweatpants, brand new Nikes, each one covered with a purple cloth, each one with a plastic bag tied around their head. They looked like they were sleeping, but they weren't. They were dead, and they had chosen it. This is the story of Heaven's Gate. To understand Heaven's Gate, you have to understand the man behind it. His name was Marshall Applewhite. Born in 1931, raised in Texas, the son of a Presbyterian preacher, charismatic, educated, musical. For years, he lived what most would consider a normal life. He taught music at the University of Alabama, sang opera, married, had children, but there was something off about him. By the late 1970s, his life had collapsed. He lost his job after allegedly pursuing a male student. His marriage ended. He suffered what he called a spiritual seizure and checked himself into a psychiatric hospital. That's where he met Bonnie Nettles, a nurse, or depending on who you ask, a prophet. Bonnie told Marshall they had known each other in a past life, that they were the two witnesses spoken of in the book of Revelation. Together, they believed they had been chosen, not just to spread a message, but to guide humanity into the next phase of evolution. Their vision was a cocktail of apocalyptic Christianity, science fiction, and Gnostic mysticism. They called themselves the Two, and later T and Doe. Bonnie was T, Marshall Doe. They believed Earth was about to be recycled, that humanity had been corrupted beyond repair, and that a group of chosen individuals could escape by ascending to a higher plane of existence, but not by faith, by leaving their human bodies behind. In the 1980s and early 90s, the group evolved into a full-blown cult. They lived communally, often in isolation, moving from state to state, using fake names, cash only. They shaved their heads, wore matching clothes, abstained from sex, drugs, alcohol, even food was controlled. They believed they were preparing for an exit, that a spaceship was coming to carry their souls away from Earth, that they didn't think they were dying. They thought they were shedding their containers. And in 1997, when the Hale-Bopp comet appeared in the sky, they took it as a sign. They believed a ship was hiding in its tail, and it was time to board. The suicides were staggered, conducted in groups over 3 days. Each person took a lethal mix of phenobarbital and vodka, then lay down, covering themselves with a purple cloth. They were clean, methodical, organized. A final video, later dubbed The Exit Interviews, shows members smiling, laughing, describing how excited they are to leave this level. They don't sound brainwashed. They sound relieved, joyful, as if they're finally going home. And that's what makes it so terrifying. We want cult stories to be about evil men and blind followers, about manipulation and fear. But Heaven's Gate wasn't about fear. It was about hope. Misguided, weaponized, but hope nonetheless. These were people who gave up their names, their families, their futures, for a belief this world wasn't real, that death wasn't an end, but a doorway. They weren't stupid. Some were college graduates, programmers, nurses, teachers. They just believed in the wrong thing for too long. And by the time doubt set in, there was no way out that didn't involve death. Today, the house where they died has been torn down, another mansion built in its place. No one mentions what happened there, but online, it lives on. The Heaven's Gate website still exists, maintained by 2 surviving members who stayed behind to keep the mission alive. You can email them. They might even reply. They'll tell you that Doe is on the ship now, that the others made it safely, that humanity will one day ascend too, if it sheds the illusion of ego, money, sex, and flesh. It's easy to laugh, but look around. The world gets darker every day, more fractured, more unreal. And when things get bad enough, some people don't need a gun or a god to feel safe. They just need a story and a door that leads somewhere else. We like to think cults are a thing of the past. We like to think we'd never fall for something like that. But every cult starts with a question. Is this really all there is? And Heaven's Gate had an answer. No, there's more. But you have to leave everything behind. And they did. 39 souls in bunk beds, wearing matching shoes, smiling, waiting for the stars to carry them home. They called it salvation. We call it tragedy. And the truth? It's something in between. This was Heaven's Gate. Thank you so much for listening in, and we'll catch you in the next one.